is Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Gimenez. Let's listen in.
On the situation in Miami-Dade County, I was just briefed this morning by FPL CEO Eric Szilagyi. There are 4,500 FPL employees and contractors working throughout Miami-Dade County to restore power. Please be patient. At peak times, 960,000 accounts out of 1.1 million lost power, so the majority of the residents of Miami-Dade County did lose power. Florida Power and Light is reporting that another 160,000 accounts are already back up. That means that within 24 hours, basically, of tropical storm force winds leaving Miami-Dade County, 371,000 accounts have been restored. And so that's a great rate of restoration. We're working on bringing our food stores and gas stations back online, and I can tell you that Mr. Szilagyi is really being very aggressive in trying to get all of the power back in Miami-Dade County, a lot sooner than some of us had expected. Sedano's, in terms of food stores, Publix has 40 stores up and running right now. A lot of them have limited supplies, and some of them are going to be closing early, but they are up and running. Sedano's has 21 of their stores up and running. Winn-Dixie has 15. Costco has 3. Walmart has 1. There are 25 CVS pharmacies open, and Walgreens has 2. And we're working on getting more of these food stores up and running so that we can get back to a normal life. And we're also working on getting more and more of our gas stations up and running so that we can get fuel. As we receive additional information, we will update and constantly be updating our website, www.miamidade.gov/emergency. Anybody who wants to know if their neighborhood food store or whatever food stores are open, and gas stations, there's an app called Gas Buddy that can tell you what gas stations are open. Our most important goal yesterday was to clear the roads, start the restoration of power, empty out the shelters, and bring back a sense of normalcy to our residents. And I'm proud of what I saw in the streets of Miami-Dade County, neighbor helping neighbor, neighbors there clearing streets so that their neighborhoods streets can be accessed and that they can have access to the outside. I'm also very proud of the work that Miami-Dade County employees are doing to clear the streets, and all the volunteers and all the different agencies working hand in hand. It's really something to see. I did an aerial assessment of the county last night. Flew over the entire all of Miami-Dade County. Yes, there is some debris. I didn't see any significant structural damage out there. Some strong storm surge in the northeast and southeast areas of the county. There's flooding at Vizcaya. But all in all, when I was coming back, there was a lot more lights in the county that I expected to see. And in light of that, I will be ceasing curfew tonight. We're lifting the curfew as a whole. The State of Florida Department of Health has issued a swimming advisory for all Miami-Dade County beaches and open waters. Please stay out of the water until further notice. Please stay out of the water until further notice. It takes 2 days to complete the testing of the waters, of the open waters of Miami-Dade County. This is not, and I repeat, the drinking water. Drinking water in Miami-Dade County is fine. We're talking about the beaches, etc., open waters. Please do not swim in them for at least until we give you the okay. Those waters are being tested as we speak. As I said, I'm lifting the curfew effective immediately. If you have a business and you have power, go in, open back up. Please be cautious as you move about our community, especially on our roadways. Watch out for any live power lines. Consider any power line on the road to be live, and other debris on the road. Miami-Dade County offices are closed until Monday. Essential and emergency personnel obviously have been working throughout the storm and will continue to work throughout the recovery. But non-essential personnel, and you'll be notified, are to report back on Monday. As far as I understand, Miami-Dade County schools remain closed. 311 is resuming normal hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please report any power outages to 1-800-4-OUTAGE. Don't call 311 for power-related issues. Again, that number is 1-800-4, the number 4, outage. Roads and bridges, 60% of the nearly 600 miles of our arterial roads are clear and drivable. We hope to finish that today. In the unincorporated Miami-Dade roadways, 255 square miles of it. We hope to have all the local roads cleared by the weekend. And again, I know that a lot of our neighbors are actually, clearing the stuff that they can. Please do so in a safe way. But we thank you for the work you're doing. Basically, if you want to do that, just put it to the side of the road. Eventually, as soon as we can, we will get to it and clear it out. Florida Department of Transportation is on track to finish most of its arterials today and the rest of tomorrow. In our traffic signals, 50% of our 2,776 traffic signals are working. Any signals that you come across that are flashing or do not have power, remember to treat them as a four-way stop. And the majority of these signals that are not are not working, we hope to be power related. We are ahead of the power company. We're fixing any of the technical issues that we have with the signals. As soon as power comes on, then these signals will be back and working. Our Department of Transportation and Public Works has gone out there to get even more of them restored as quickly as possible so that we can put people back on the road as quickly as possible. Yesterday we began consolidating folks out of our shelters and we've closed the vast majority. At this time, Fuchs Pavilion near Tamiami Park and the Special Needs Evacuation Center are the only shelters that are still open, and all resources have been consolidated there. About 500 residents and 31 animals are at Fuchs Pavilion, and we will continue to provide animal services. Fuchs will be opening up also to evacuees from our neighbors in Monroe County. Miami-Dade Transit has resumed Metro Rail service effective at noon today, and we will run until 11 o'clock tonight. Some Metro Rail parking garages are full. We need those folks that park their cars there to protect their cars from the storm to go back in there and get them out so that we can, serve our citizens better. Full Metro Rail service will resume tomorrow. Metro Bus has 16 routes beginning today, already have begun today as of noon. Additional routes may be announced. Please call 311 with any questions, or if you have power, check online. Full Metro Bus service resumes on Friday. Metro Mover is closed until further notice. We have a crane that was damaged in downtown Miami that's dangling close to one of our Metro Mover stations. We may be able to open up some of the other links, but at this point, Metro Mover is closed. Special Transportation Services running medical trips, taking appointments for tomorrow and beyond. Full STS service begins tomorrow from 8 o'clock to 6 p.m. Miami International Airport is operational. Flights are coming in and out. Currently, we're operating at about 35%, but by Friday, we will be at 100%. The airport actually is open, but the flights and the airlines are slowly coming back. So if you have a flight, if you're unsure, please call your local carrier to see if your flight is scheduled and when it will be scheduled. We expect MIA to be fully at 100% by Friday. Terminal G is closed right now due to some weather-related damage, but we don't expect that to affect the capacity of Miami International Airport. And given again that many airlines are not operating at their full schedule, please call your carrier to find out about your particular flight status. Seaport of Miami, the Port Miami itself is open, but it's not open to maritime operations. We're waiting for the Coast Guard to conduct its inspections and give us a green light before we allow cargo and passenger cruise ships to come into the port. I believe what the Coast Guard is doing to make sure that there is no obstacle in the waterways that may damage ships coming in. We expect that to be done later today, hopefully at the latest tomorrow. Cargo operators need to contact their port to make sure that their particular terminal is open. Cruise travelers should contact their cruise lines directly for more information on cruise itineraries. We have resumed regular garbage service as of today, If today was your garbage day, we will try to pick up as much of your garbage as possible. Folks that were scheduled for Monday, we will pick up garbage tomorrow, which is normally their day off, but we'll do that, and so that the Monday schedule, which is Monday, Thursday, will be picked up on Wednesday, Thursday, and then the normal Tuesday, Friday, we'll be picking up on Friday. We have 2 bulky waste crews already out per district, starting to pick up bulky waste. I'm sure that we will be having contractors come around the county to pick up all the debris in the unincorporated areas of the county. The water in Miami-Dade County, again, continues to be safe to drink. There are no boil water orders here in Miami-Dade County at this time, unless you have very low pressure, mainly caused because of an uprooted tree. Please, your water is just fine. If you're running out of bottled water, open the tap, and drink all you want. These are all the updates that I have for now. I want to thank all the elected officials, local, state, federal, that have been with us throughout this ordeal, and will continue to be with us as we recuperate from the storm. I also want to remind everybody to be good neighbors and work in tandem. I certainly saw that around my neighborhood. People coming out, clearing some debris, clearing even the roads, and helping each other out. I see that, I see that all over this county. But when you do that, and you please do so in a safe fashion. Remember, the majority, a large number of folks get injured after the storm, during the cleanup of the storm. Please be safe while you're out there. And again, your county government and state and federal partners are working to restore normalcy to Miami-Dade County residents as quickly as possible. Be safe. If you find a street light that is out, go about your business in a safe manner. But we want Miami-Dade County to get back to normalcy as soon as possible. Again, those are my remarks in English, and I'm open to any questions. Have 500. We have, I think, another 100 that are special needs, but that's the totality of it. The 500 were from the general population shelters. They've all now been located at Fuchs, so that all the other shelters that we had open are now closed. Later today, I'll actually be going down into the Keys to see the situation and how it could be impacting Miami-Dade, but also how can Miami-Dade help them. I believe that it looks like they were hit much harder than we were, and they're going to need all the help that they can get. So myself and the fire chief and the police director are going to go down there and talk to some local folks about what it is that Miami-Dade County can be doing for them, and also get some estimates of how many people may be coming up here, and if that's the case, then that we want to locate them at Fuchs. It's post-storm. The fairgrounds has buildings there that may not be hurricane shelters, but can open up as shelters, or big, large open spaces. So we may need to do that in order to help our neighbor down to the south. Well, at this point, we've always had federal aid. We've had food pallets, et cetera. But in essence, it's mostly local. It's mostly the county, the cities, the state, that has been doing the bulk of the work, and FPL. I think the federal assets could be used in places that are really been hit, the hardest. And so I think that's what's going on. But again, we've had great cooperation. And we're lucky that our needs aren't as great as other parts of the county or the country and the state. My concerns are right now that we have a lot of our traffic signals are out, that we have a lot of people still without power. As soon as we can get those areas without power powered up, and our traffic signals back, and get back to normalcy as much as possible, that means that our residents are going to come back home. They're probably going to have to do a lot of cleanup. That's what I found around the county. But in terms of their life, getting them back normal as quickly as possible. And I expect that we're going to get this done after speaking to Florida Power and Light, sooner rather than later, which is always good. And in our efforts to open up our food stores and our gas stations, et cetera. And now the message is, hey, if you have power and you have a business, especially a restaurant or if you're running a business that supplies people with things that they may need after a storm, please open up as soon as you can, so that people can go ahead and clean up their property. And also, if people don't have, if somebody doesn't have a food store somewhere, I mean, getting back to normalcy as quickly as possible. That's the message for today, and that's why also I lifted the curfew in Miami-Dade County, to get people to get them back on the road and get them back to normalcy as quickly as possible. But if you don't have to be on the road, then please don't. We do have 50% of our lights are still out. Yes.
This hurricane really just reminded us that in Florida there really is no escape from a hurricane. So many people from here evacuated over to Tampa or to Naples. Do you think it's time for mayors and the state?
You're looking at live pictures on the right of the work crews out there clearing the debris in Miami Beach as the mayor of Miami-Dade County announces the curfew is lifted. About 371,000 accounts have been restored power-wise, but still the majority of Miami-Dade County, they were affected. So the numbers in Miami-Dade are still at about 655,000 customers without power. But life is getting back to normal.
Well, look, the strategy here in Miami-Dade County is that we evacuate in place. Find a place here in Miami-Dade County that you can evacuate to. But that, this storm was so powerful. And actually, a lot of people were afraid whether their structure was going to be able to withstand the storm. What we have, been afraid of here, mostly in Miami-Dade County, is not so much wind speed as it is the storm surge, because that's the big killer. That's what really we were concerned with. But believe me, hey, I was concerned about a 180-mile-an-hour hurricane like anybody else. All right, our building codes are probably the strictest in the country. But you can't build structures to look 300 miles an hour, 200 mile an hour. It's just, it's financially not feasible. We are also, if not the worst, one of the worst areas for evacuation. We basically have two evacuation routes. It's the Turnpike and I-95. So this was really a worst case scenario where you have a south to north traveling storm coming at you at a Category 5. That was the worst scenario that we could plan. Luckily, it didn't hit as a Cat 5. It didn't hit at 180 miles an hour, but it caused significant damages, obviously, to the Keys and to other areas. Our plan is always to evacuate in place into a friend's house, into a family house, into a coworker, for those areas that we feel are threatened by storm surge. So I don't see how those plans will change. Maybe evacuation routes can be enhanced, but that's also, again, limited by the geography. We live in a thin state, long, thin state that runs north to south, and these hurricanes usually run, they usually run from southeast to northwest and then kind of bend out. This was different, coming from the south and then all the way up the state. So for the state, it was the worst case scenario. For us, it was the worst case scenario. Luckily for us, we got spared, the worst of the winds.
Mayor,
Yes.
as your office feels tall, what's the most encouraging thing that you can say to the residents?
The most encouraging thing in the sign I see is that neighbors coming together, helping each other. That is a good sign. There are some folks in my neighborhood I never met before. They were there on the street. We're sharing water and leaf blowers and also with some chainsaws and all, because we had to do it. But I saw that all parts of Dade County. And when things get tough here in our county, we all come together, and it's a great community, and that's the most encouraging. And that's on the personal side. On the, as mayor's side, most encouraging is that we're able to we've been clearing the roads, at a fairly fast clip, getting people back to to normalcy, as a resemblance of normalcy, very rapidly, faster than anticipated. good conversation with the CEO of Florida Power and Light, the resources that they put here in order to restore power, and so getting back to normalcy quicker than I thought could have happened. And I'm not going to say it happened yet. I'm saying I'm optimistic that we actually get back to normalcy a lot faster than maybe people thought. Okay, that's not to say that some people aren't going to be without power for a while. Yeah, I'm going down into the Keys. Hopefully, talk to some folks down there. Check it out and see what's going on. Last night was just an aerial view of what was going on in Miami-Dade County. Helicopter. No fire. Mm-hmm. At this point, no. Unless we feel that's something that's absolutely necessary. We told people to try to be self-sufficient for 3 days. And our main thrust was to get food stores and those facilities that offer ice to be open. No offering it. No, you got to buy. I mean, available. Well, if that becomes a mission, then we will look at it and becomes something that we need to do. When people get their power back, they make their own ice. All right. So the number one thing is to get power back, and then those areas that don't have power and need ice, then we will be supplying it. But at this point, we are not we don't have that on our radar yet. It may come up. I know that some cities are doing it. We're not doing it right now. Any other questions?